My name is Huebian. I am a singer, songwriter. Actually, I'm a multidisciplinary artist, but for this purpose today, we're going to talk about my singer-songwriter side. And I am based in New Orleans. I am Jamaican American. I have lived a lot of places. I have done a lot of things. I like to say I've lived a lot of lives. But all of the different ways that I engage with art kind of inform my music process. So when I was growing up, they would always tell me I had to, not be a jack of all trades, master of none, pick one, and I refused. And I spent a good part of growing into my art trying to figure out how to make all of my hats make one beautiful outfit. I think I finally got it though. I think I have. I don't know. But it's starting to be really fun, I can say at the very least. So what I'm going to talk to, that's not too far. What I'm going to talk to you about today is how to leave a theme. And I'm going to talk from the perspective of music, but if you're writing anything or creating anything and you want to market it, right, to make an actual cohesive collection or a through line in your product is extremely important. Not just for having successful sales, but just to connect with your audience, right? It's the art of conversation. And if you ever talk to somebody that saying one thing and it's like squirrel and they switch to another topic and they trail off and they go to something else, they come back to that and they hop over you, you feel pretty lost, right? So when someone is experiencing your art, especially if you're not there to guide them through it, you want to make sure that it's clear and kind of give them a path to walk down to help them experience it. Of course, it's subjective. They're going to take their own interpretation and perspectives from it, but you want to leave a little roadmap. And so I have a type of brain that goes down many rabbit holes in the span of a few seconds. Okay, so I have had the pleasure and the challenge of trying to figure out how to help people go down the rabbit hole and not get lost. But what I am currently working on is a project called My Garden, and I'll give you a quick overview. It came to me trying to figure out how to tell my story that is very multifaceted and sounds like a whole bunch of things and not have it come off like chaos. So again, with the jack of all trades, master of none, I write and sing in a lot of genres. The industry will tell you not to do that, but you gotta pick one, and your sounds need to all kind of be centered around the same thing. I don't like to follow rules, y'all.
Amen.
I really don't. If there's something in my spirit that likes to rebel, and sometimes, and most of the time, I give into that. But when it comes to my art, I definitely lead with that. And so I wanted to figure out a way to have multiple sounds, have multiple conversations, but not feel like I'm 16 different people talking to 25 different people, right? So what came to me was the idea of seeds, right? Again, like I said, I've lived a lot of places, I've done a lot of things, and each one of these songs is a story from a different aspect or a different chapter in my life. And to me, that's like seeds being planted in my garden. You look at a garden, generally, a garden is made up of more than one type of plant, whether that's fruits and vegetables or flowers or trees. It's not just one whole section of the same thing. So often it's beautiful, right? And sometimes it is random. Sometimes nature just does its thing and pollinates the space. Sometimes we try to curate its space. But it's still a beautiful mixture. And so I decided to make an album called My Garden. And then life decided that I was not going to make an album in the timetable and in the way that I thought I was going to make an album. So I split it up into 4 EPs and keeping with the theme of my garden, I was like, okay, plants have a cyclical life nature. The underlying concept is self-love and all the things that inform it. So what if I mimic nature and I do 4 EPs and we go with the 4 seasons, right? So that was where I started, and that's kind of how far I got before my frustration set in. Because as artists, we see something one way, and we want to do it that way. And if we don't get to do it that way, then we feel like it's not right. And so I had to do a lot of work with myself to be like, adjust, be flexible, let this thing kind of guide me, and tell you what it wants to be. But in the meantime, I kept thinking, my marketing brain, because I also have a degree in marketing, my marketing brain said, this still has to make sense to everybody else. Which generally in life, I don't care about making sense to anybody but me. Sometimes I don't even care if it makes sense to me. It just doesn't feel right. But I know that I can't function as an artist and be successful as make a living as an artist and say that if I don't consider the outside world and who's going to experience it. So, let's talk about themes. I have highlighted some artists that I think have done some really good job, music artists that have done a really good job. Hello, welcome. I'm glad you made it. Everything that I just said you heard on Thursday. Okay. So you're right on time. These are some artists that I think have done really good job with themes and in very different ways. Okay? So this first block you'll see over here is a collection of albums by an artist called Music Soul Child. I don't know if everyone's familiar.
Love him.
And something that I noticed about him, besides his signature sound, his albums' titles were all very similar, right? So we had I Just Want to Sing, but it was spelled AIJUSWANASING. We know that is not how you spell the words I Just Want to Sing, but it's phonetic, it's creative. His name Music is also not spelled correct according to English. It's also phonetic and creative, MUSIQ. So then he had another album called Just Listen, and that's JUSLISEN. Phonetic, creative, and then he also had Love and Music, LUVANMUSIC. Again, same pattern, right? So even though his covers are very different, although you do see most of the time he has headphones, he has that through line. Lowercase lettering, spelled all as one word, the way that it sounds. And I thought that was pretty cool. The next album, I don't know if anyone is familiar with this cover. Does anyone know who that is?
We all know who that
The Beatles.
The Beatles. This is their Abbey Road cover. And the thing that I thought was pretty cool here is sometimes the simplest things are the most relatable. They get the job done quick and easy, and like to the largest group of people. It's called Abbey Road. They're walking across an intersection on Abbey Road, right? Now, do the songs talk about Abbey Road? Maybe, maybe not. For whatever reason, that was what they chose to title this collection of the album. And the photo lets you know exactly what you're getting. I am not generally one to take the simplest route. Trying to learn how to do that and feel okay within myself. But there's an art to that. There's an effectiveness and there's an art to that. Sometimes you can be a little bit too literal. But there's a way to still infuse an artistic perspective, even in the simplicity. They could have taken this picture from any angle. They could have taken it without them walking down the street. The way they framed it right in the intersection, I'm sure, was a very intentional choice, right? The time of day, the composition of it. You have the center of the street with the gap in the tree line. All these other things are other ways that they made more artistic, subtle, or less overt choices for a very simple thing, right? And then at the bottom we have Beyonce. And the reason why I chose the whole body of work to go through, the reason why I chose these particular albums is because right now there are whole channels dedicated to their theory of trying to figure out what this third album in this series is going to be, right? And I think that is a brilliant display of what a theme can do. When you have people trying to guess what comes next in the series, you have effectively implemented your theme. And she's done it in a multifaceted way. The album covers all have dark backgrounds and a horse. You can see that, right? There's also a color theme that runs through. Each one of these albums is a different genre, but they are all connected. There's a color thing that happens when she goes on tour, does all the visuals, right? There's branding, the promos, the advertising, brand advertising partnerships. She names the characters, right? Even the artists she chooses to collaborate with on these albums. And it is literally, I mean, dissertation style videos and conversations dedicated to try to figure out what's going to be third. Does anyone in here have an opinion or what they think is coming next?
You go. Go ahead.
This is a conversation. We don't have to raise hands. We're not in class.
Can I say something else? Can I say something first though?
Yes, please.
The other thing I like is that when it comes to Act 2 on the album, every time you see I, there's two eyes.
Exactly.
Like that's so simple and so genius at the same time.
And that's one of the things that's most important about a theme, and at least the way that I approach a theme. Everywhere that you can infuse that theme, do it. They call them Easter eggs. I think that's really cool. The idea of like hunting for little bits and pieces. But the most simple ones that make you go, oh, duh, why didn't I think of that, are the most brilliant. And that's a great example. That's a great example.
I mean, it would be super wild if she pulled a Poppy and did Meta.
I would
It would be crazy.
I would love for it to be that.
Yeah.
I think it is gonna be
love for it.
I feel like it's
But I
gonna
want it to not just I want her to go all the way.
I don't think it'll be metal, and the reason again, so when you have a lot of symbology that happens too, and one of the things that she is really doing with these series is also identifying or paying homage to roots.
Well, yeah,
right?
and digging up the origin.
Exactly, and so I think if she does rock, it would be a certain way, which I'm really hoping for, but I don't know, y'all, I just watched a really compelling video the other day about it being blues.
Could be.
That would be nice.
I saw it, and I really, up until like this week, whenever I saw that video, I thought rock all the way. But everything they said about it being blues, I felt that.
There's a lot of room
Look,
for
I
it to
just
be
got
bluesy
goosebumps.
rock.
I was
And that,
yeah.
but that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
When you start talking about roots, there really wasn't that much of a separation between early rock and blues in the way.
Because if you're looking for the roots of rock, you go back to
which is
blues
what
for
made
sure.
me feel like I think we might get something really, really amazing. And then they got all the color things worked out, etc. But anyway, not to make this all about, we could
have
spend a
Beyonce
whole
talk.
workshop about Beyonce. You can have there are actually whole entire courses in universities about Beyonce, right? Because she's brilliant at what she does, not just her talent, but the marketing behind it, right? And so this is why we are dissecting themes, because you can take something so seemingly like, what is this? I don't even understand. The colors aren't the same, and the words don't rhyme, and whatever. Just make it a collection of clothing. The fabrics aren't the same. The silhouettes are. If you pick one thing and make that a through line, you now have a cohesion, right? And all you need is one cohesive, unifying thing to be able to create a body of work, right? And market it as a body of work. Or make that your signature thing that you're known for, right? Which is what helps people really resonate with either the collection or you as an artist. and look for you and find you, even when you don't announce your name really big, right? Her name is not on this cover. Her face is. We know what she looks like, but even if she didn't put her face on, right?
What
Where
about
there's
the
a
album?
signature. Prince changed his name to a symbol. Mic drop. But you knew how to find him, right? So, here we are. Any questions before I keep going? Or anything you just want to say? Yes?
I just want to point out on that second album of Beyonce, her position.
Yes.
It's a galloping horse.
Yes.
She's holding a flag, but she is actually, if you look at her map, she is in the position of the Louisiana Purchase.
See what I'm
And
saying?
they Louisiana played a significant role in the success of those colonies.
Do you see what I'm saying? I love that. I love that. We can dissect and dissect and dissect, and the more layers that you embed into it, the more brilliant it is, the more conversations that can be had, the more you draw people into your work. And also, something that is very widely known is, these albums were released out of her intended order. But because her theme is so strong, it didn't matter. Cowboy Carter was supposed to come out before Renaissance. That's the way she recorded it. We don't know that, and she didn't tell us, right? Because the theme is so strong. Okay, so let's talk about my attempt at theme. That kind of happened to itself. Well, okay. But I actually love that it happened the way that it did. So, as I said before, I thought I was going to release one album. It's called My Garden Message. It's my garden, right? And then I had to break it up into pieces. And I said, well, the easiest way to do this is to make it 4 EPs, because there are 4 quarters in a year. A lot of the music industry operates on quarters. There are 4 seasons in nature. Plants are nature. Here we go. There's my thing, right? So, I broke them up into My Garden Fall for the fall, My Garden Frost for the winter, My Garden Forage for the spring, and the final one is going to be My Garden Full Bloom for the summer. Okay? And then when I did that, I noticed something else that I did not intend to do, but I thought was really, really cool. Did you even notice anything about those EP titles?
The brilliance of not enunciation, alliteration.
Yep.
Each one is fall, frost, forage, and full bloom. That
I didn't want to say winter, spring, or summer, fall. And the only reason why I didn't name them that was I was like, that's basic. And for me, anybody who knows me, my sister can attest, I don't do anything basic. And it's not me trying to be something else. My brain just does not work that way. So I said frost for winter because it's cold, and the first single was called Withered. Before I wrote this song a long time ago, that song was called Cold Shoulder. Right? But because I was doing a plant theme, I had to go back and redo some of my titles because I wanted to make sure that it fit. That's another thing about a theme and being an artist. You can tweak stuff and make it work, right? So I chose frost because I was like, okay, frozen, you're cold in the winter, that's what happens, that's what you feel. It took me forever to do spring because full bloom was easy for me. I was like, that's acceptance, that's me in my full glory. And when I was doing that, I realized accidentally, or actually on purpose, as I like to say, they all started with an F. That's another theme. I didn't try to do that. I did not try to do that. And then, when I finish these 4 EPs, I'm going to put them together as an album, right? The way that I originally intended to release it. And unintentionally. At first I was going to call it 4 Seasons. I was like, well, if I spell out 4, it'll start with an F. I was like, but that's also boring. There is a song that is meant to wrap up the entire album that can't go on the EP because of the nature of the song. And I'm praying that it gets done the way that I envision it. But it's called Fertile Ground. That also starts with an F.
yes, ma'am.
Alright? So then I was like, well, okay, what am I name spring? Because I don't know, spring don't start with F at all. So then here comes the rabbit hole that my brain I'm gonna encourage you all to do this. Go down rabbit holes. Whether they are self-induced, because your brain just does that, or whether you do it on purpose. So then I pulled out Google. Because I am a person who will think of a thing and then I need to know what it's actually called. And then I'll start with my synonyms and, you know, how can I tweak this and say it or whatever. And so I said, okay, what happens in spring that I am trying to highlight from these songs? And I was like, spring is the part where the seed starts to break the ground, starts to form a seedling. It's getting water and nutrients. It's turning into something. It's not quite there yet. You just see a little stalk or some leaves coming up out of the ground, right? So let me go look at this scientific process and see what that's called. Because I am not opposed to naming my art after things that make you have to go pick up a book and figure out what that word is, right? And science is one of those things. Majority of us don't know the actual scientific words for things, right? Just in everyday conversation. I had a EP once that I was working on that I named ecdysis. Because that's the process of the snake shedding its skin. And that's what I feel like I was doing with my life at the time. And they told me, you can't name it that. Like, nobody's gonna know what that is. Great, go Google it. I used to go pick up a book, find a dictionary, but we're in the age of, you know, searching, ask AI or whatever you have to do, but go learn a new word. If you learn a new word, you've gotten something from the process, if nothing else, right? So, forage is a part of that process of a plant growing into a seed, right? So we have spring. And then also you can think of like foraging for berries and trees, leaves, and whatever else in the woods when you think about plants. I love double, triple entendres. That's just a natural thing for me. So I get really excited when I can find multiple meanings. And this is where we landed. So then I had to figure out, okay, what's going to go on these EPs because I haven't written as an album. Do I have enough content to split it up to where it makes sense? Right? And I know the answer to this question because I don't have none.
It comes
I'm like, I'm just here. I'm trying to get better at being the subject.
Not trying to
I'm working on being the subject. And on again. Okay.
Okay.
Am I good?
Wonderful.
Am I floss on?
Yes.
So first, thank you for coming to inspire us with your work, with your gifts and your talent. I did a collaborative piece with Mr. Ron Smith. He actually created he created the actual painting, and I just provided him with my poetry.
Okay.
And we did a collaborative piece. So you are getting a sample of Paint Me, and this is yours. Oh, and the bag is also yours.
First of all,
Come on, Shreveport.
thank you for coming to share this space.
Yes.
Right, I really appreciate it. And not just here.
Yes.
Yes, thank you for that. Thank you for giving me something to commemorate Shreveport. Alright? And this week, because this week has been very, very beautiful. And what happened? And this poem is original by you.
That's my actual poetry. Yes.
It's called Paint Me. And it says, paint me with all your beautiful colors of dedication, love, and loyalty for all eternity in all its glory. And I am definitely going to hang this up in my home because that is beautiful. Thank you so very much. And what is the gentleman's name?
Ron Smith.
Ron Smith. You said he painted.
He did the painting.
Thank you, Mr. Ron Smith. Please extend my gratitude.
Yes,
And I
ma'am.
thank you so much for this. Thank you for thinking of me.
Yes.
I
And I'm
love
going to
this.
sign that for you.
Please. Yes. What do we need?
I have a pen.
You have, look,
I have a pen.
man who knows what he wants.
But yes, you blessed us. I thought it was just an
Oh my
appropriate way to
goodness.
bless you.
Thank you so much.
Huebian.
Yes, because I trained them and told them what my name meant. And now you can't forget it. You'll spell it right every time. And say it right.
And today's the 25th.
Yes.
Look, it's authentic. It's authentic. It's authentic. Right? It's not a knockoff. This is real. Okay.
I appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Oh my goodness.
Can I get a quick picture?
Please.
You want it with